Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating story from our source material that really digs into the hidden costs of how we treat others. We're going to break down a classic fable that perfectly contrasts the real-world return on investment between, ruthless profit-seeking on one hand and compassionate resilience on the other. We'll see exactly how a person's operating system, whether they're driven by greed or by empathy, literally determines their fate. Okay, let's dive into this. The core philosophy driving our entire narrative today is this quote: God often hides miracles inside what the world rejects. This is the worldview of a poor woodcutter named Aaron, and it serves as the absolute foundation of our story. While everyone else just sees trash, Aaron sees potential. Keep this exact phrase in the back of your mind, because as you'll see, this mindset isn't just a nice, feel-good thought. It actually yields a massive, tangible reward. Section 1. Two men, two mindsets. Let's look at their contrasting mindsets. All right, so first, meet Marcus. He is a rich merchant who owns wagons, gold, strong horses, the whole shebang. But his entire worldview is completely transactional. He's cruel, he's proud, and he honestly believes that only profit matters. If something, or someone, for that matter, stops being useful to him, he immediately discards them. No second thoughts. Now, in stark contrast, we have Aaron. He's around 50 years old, bent over from years of grueling hard work, and incredibly poor. I mean, he carries heavy firewood manually down from the hills, literally just to feed his wife and 5 kids. Aaron actually sells this wood to Marcus. And despite Marcus constantly insulting him, making him wait around, and paying him terribly, Aaron endures it all completely silently. And that's not out of weakness, right? It's out of a profound, unshakable commitment to his family. Section 2. The discarded horse, a tragic trajectory. So we meet a horse named Shadow, whose life followed a pretty tragic arc. For years, he was Marcus's absolute most reliable horse. He carried extremely valuable goods across mountains, through dangerous storms, and never once failed. But, well, time takes its toll on all of us. Shadow ages, his legs start slowing down, and he slowly loses his sight. And because Marcus, remember, only values utility, Shadow was just pushed into the darkest, most ignored corner of the stable, completely forgotten. Finally, the cruelty just peaks. Marcus, who is somehow still enraged that Shadow lost 2 sacks of gold during a massive storm years ago, brutally beats the blind horse with a whip. Then he actually orders his men to just abandon him out in the harsh desert to die. But right before Shadow was dragged out to the desert, Aaron happened to spot him in that dark stable. And looking at the horse, Aaron saw his own life reflected right back at him. Both of them had worked to absolute exhaustion, and both were treated by Marcus as entirely disposable. I want you to stop and think about that for a second. Have you ever felt discarded? Have you ever felt like you were only valued for exactly what you could produce? Aaron felt a deep, empathetic kinship right then and there. He stepped close, touched Shadow's neck gently, and whispered to him. It was probably the first bit of kindness the poor horse had felt in a long, long time. Aaron actually asked to take the horse off his hands, but Marcus, he just laughed, mocked him, and flat out refused. Section 3. A rescue in the desert. A turning point. The very next day, while Aaron is out cutting wood in the dry land, he hears this weak, broken cry. He finds Shadow tied to a dead tree, shaking and literally near death. But Aaron doesn't just feel sorry for the horse and move on. No, he takes immediate, structured action. He drops straight to his knees to give the horse some water, unties him to slowly lead him home, and then provides consistent food and gentle words. Now, the townspeople, they laughed at Aaron. They actively mocked him, saying he was out there just collecting trash. But Aaron completely ignored them. He was acting on that core belief we talked about earlier, right? Finding the miracle in exactly what the world rejects. Section 4. The hidden treasure. A patient reward. So slowly, with a lot of patience and water, Shadow starts growing stronger. And even though he's blind, the horse senses everything around him, and he remembers. One early morning, Shadow gets a bit restless and gently pulls at Aaron, basically asking him to follow him out into the desert. And this brilliantly illustrates the incredible bond of trust they've built. Aaron just follows. Shadow moves with complete confidence, following this old, ingrained route remembered deep inside him, and he leads Aaron to a rocky place marked by a stone shaped like a bird's head. The horse stops and hits the ground with his foot. Trusting the animal completely, Aaron drops down and begins to dig into the sand. And what do you think he finds? 2 old sacks buried right there in the sand. 2 sacks of gold. This was the exact treasure Marcus had lost all those years ago. The very thing Marcus brutally beat Shadow for losing, Shadow has now just handed over to Aaron. But here's the kicker. What does Aaron do? Does he take it all and go flaunt his new wealth? Absolutely not. He humbly takes only what he can physically carry back with him. He uses it to buy food so that for the first time in years, his 5 kids can actually eat well.
Section 5. The Price of Cruelty. Greed Returns.
Well, it doesn't take long for Marcus to notice that Aaron suddenly has money for food, and he grows deeply, deeply suspicious. How does greed react to another man's miracle? Think about it. Does it celebrate? Does it learn a lesson? No way. Greed rushes right back into Marcus's heart immediately. He tracks Aaron, brings one of his workers along, and they follow him all the way back to that rocky treasure site out in the desert. When they finally arrive, Marcus confronts Aaron. He's shouting, he's threatening him. But as we know, greed poisons absolutely everything. The gold is sitting right there, and Marcus's toxic greed just completely takes over. Actually, he and his worker turn on each other. They literally fight over the gold in this state of absolute madness, ultimately destroying and severely hurting each other. And while they're completely consumed by their own toxicity, Aaron and Shadow just quietly survive the chaos. Aaron buries his portion of the gold again, leaves the place forever, and just returns home to his family. Section 6. Sight restored, lessons learned. So the crucial point is looking at the stark final return on investment between these two entirely different mindsets. For Marcus, a life of cruelty led to him losing his gold twice, severely hurting his worker, and just being entirely consumed by madness. On the flip side, Aaron's life of compassion led to him finding the treasure, maintaining his humility. He never became proud and always remembered exactly where he came from, and beautifully, using his wealth to actually help others. And that leads us perfectly to our definition of true wealth for this story. Because Aaron didn't just hoard his windfall. He used his portion of the gold to pay for a specialized surgery. And get this, Shadow, the discarded blind horse, actually regained his sight. He was able to run freely across green fields, living out his last years feeling loved, calm, and deeply respected. Aaron literally invested the miracle right back into the very creature that helped him find it.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a final, provocative thought. Are you treating the people in your life as tools for profit, just to be discarded when they're no longer useful? Or are you treating them with the empathetic kindness that builds true, lasting wealth? Just remember, the world might reject something, but that might be exactly where the miracle is hidden. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep learning, keep looking for that hidden value, and I'll catch you next time.